This is the detailed presentation of construction of bungalow in Shah Alam. This is our client, Mrs. Joseph Teo. He is a successful businessman who is 50 years old and earns a monthly income of 100,000 ringgit. Mr. Teo wants to build a minimalistic gated bungalow with an indoor swimming pool. He wants to achieve a very modern contemporary design with a simple landscape. Mr. Teo has a set budget of 4 million ringgit for this project. These are the parties involved and their roles in the construction of the bungalow.
The client is responsible to hire the architect and other consultants. The client will pay the bills to the quantity surveyor. The client is responsible for the scope of project, the schedule and the budget.
The architect will compile and analyze information and the creation of a detailed design of a project. He will meet the specific needs and desires of the client.
The quantity surveyor acts on behalf of the client and also advises the architect and engineer on the implications.
Structural engineers must solve technical problems and help the architects achieve his or her vision for the project.
I will make interior spaces functional as well as safe and aesthetically appealing.
The contractors will be planning, managing and monitoring the workers, which are the subcontractors, to ensure that any risks are being controlled.
The role of mechanical and electrical engineer is supervising all installations of machines and equipment at site. M&E also plans the execution of all electrical related works and coordinates the works to mechanical and civil groups.
Developing new or improved theories, policy and methods for landscaping, planning, design and management at local, regional, national and multinational levels.
The land surveyor will survey and establish land boundaries. He will create maps or drawings that show the various aspects of the land area.
Creating a project strategy to save energy and water, recommend eco-friendly materials, optimize indoor environmental quality and create a sustainable site.
This is the structure of the players in the project. The architect and client play the leading role in this project. The specialists and consultants have to discuss with the architect or client to make any changes in the project. The following is the development process and the construction phases for the particular project. These are the 6 phases of development process. The first will be conceptual planning, next schematic design, third design development, followed by construction documentation and procurement, fifth construction, lastly project closeout. The first phase, conceptual planning. Mr. Teo fishes a lot of information to create his bungalow. He talks to reliable people and buys magazines to inspire himself. He then hires the key consultants to ensure that the project proceeds properly. The first step in conceptual planning is the owner gathers as much reliable information as possible about a project. Second, the owner hires key consultants including the designer, construction manager, and establishes a conceptual estimate and a master schedule. Third, the owner should select and hire the appropriate design and technical consultants to analyze, program, estimate, and schedule the project properly. Lastly, the master schedule considers all phases of the project that includes conceptual planning, schematic design, design development, construction documentation and procurement, construction, and project closeout.
I have a land and I would like to build a 3-story house on it. I also want a swimming pool inside the building for my children. I am open to any type of interior design.
Okay, but first I need your land title, permit and insurance. Next, you have to hire the key consultants and only then I will distribute their works. This is the imaginary building located in Shah Alam with an area of 3,722 square feet. It is under the wing of MPSA, Shah Alam City Council. It is a 3-story building with an indoor swimming pool built on a slope site. Retaining walls need to be built because of the sloping site by the civil and structural engineer to ensure safety. The swimming pool specialist decides the proper system for the pool, water circulation, and for the decorative purposes like mosaic and so on. He also takes safety measures to make sure fatal accidents are avoided.
The second stage of the development process, the schematic design.
As a land surveyor, firstly I need to visit the location of the land in Shah Alam. I will do a precise measurement to determine the boundaries of the property. I will also do the soil investigation to check the structure and strength of the soil. From the soil investigation, I will file a report for the civil engineer to calculate the piling and retaining walls. In this phase, the architect needs to analyze the client's brief and also present with several alternative concepts for the owner's evaluation. I will do a plan layout within the boundaries measured by the land surveyor.
I will meet the architect and plan the interior design based on the client's needs with the assistance of the architect. I am planning to have 5 rooms and 4 bathrooms in this bungalow. I will also be determining the locations and number of plug points in the house.
As a town planner, I will start zoning out the land to make sure the construction is in the residential area. I will also submit planning proposal to local authority to obtain planning permission. Majlis Bandaraya Shah Alam acts as local authority in Shah Alam district. All legal requirements for the bungalow must be approved by this party. Cabas will ensure water supply system are built accordingly approved and regular check for quality control based on approved plan at site. Telekom Malaysia will offer communication services, Wi-Fi, mobility to ensure the residents of that area are updated with current technology and news. Indah Water Consortium will maintain efficient sewerage system and ensure waterways is treated to avoid pollution. TNB, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, will provide electricity to the residential area. Bomber will know the capacity of exits, location of exits in the house according to law and ensure safety of all residents of the home. Fire requirement must be checked against the height and size of the house to be compatible to a large fire. As a CNS engineer, I will determine the location of the piling and retaining walls for the building based on the architect's plan. The installation of the retaining walls is based on the soil investigation report.
As a mechanical and electrical engineer, I will apply for utilities and supply electricity, gas, water, and sewerage.
As a green specialist, I would collaborate with the M&E engineer when applying for utilities to ensure the GBI rating of the bungalow is certified. I would incorporate air conditioners that use hydrofluorocarbon instead of chlorofluorocarbon to play a role in helping the environment. I'll also ensure the appliances purchased have a high energy star rating for energy efficiency. As the environmental impact assessment consultant, I will ensure potential environmental impact are foreseen in schematic design and is addressed for the safety of the residents. I will also monitor the construction and operational phases to avoid drastic accidents like landslides that may cause deaths.
As a quantity surveyor, I will estimate the cost roughly within the client's budget, which is 4.5 million ringgit. I will also prepare bill of quantities based on the built-in sketches by the architect.
This is the recap of the second phase of construction of the bungalow, the schematic design. This phase mainly involves rough analysis, sketches, research, and cost estimate. Players involved are the architect, land surveyor, interior designer, town planner, CNS engineer, M&E engineer, EIA consultant, the quantity surveyor, and green specialist.
The third phase of the construction of the bungalow, design development. The function of this phase is to detail out all the specifics that define the project. This phase involves the selection of materials and systems and the gathering and piecing together of data. 30% to 60% of the design should be completed and finalized at this point. The architect, M&E engineer, CNS engineer, and QS are all involved at this stage. The QS monitors their cost to avoid it exceeding the budget given by Mr. Teo.
During this phase, the architect produces a detailed working plan for the bungalow. Based on these drawings, the M&E engineer prepares his drawing for the gates, the air duct for the air conditioner, alarm system, and so on.
CNS engineer will prepare a structural plan according to the architect's plan.
The architect produces the architectural plan with the assistance of the other parties involved. The interior designer draws a detailed drawing of the interior of the bungalow in a way that the space is functional and aesthetically pleasing at the same time. In the drawing produced by the interior designer, the bungalow has 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a living room, dining room, entertainment room, and a kitchen. The number and locations of the plug points and the lighting is also planned out by the interior designer with the help of the mechanical and electrical engineer.
In this scenario, the landscape architect faces an obstacle, which is the natural slope on the land. The landscape architect will help the client make sure the surrounding of the house is filled with softscape elements and trees with buttressed roots to withstand the soil pressure is to be planted around the sloping area of the bungalow.
All the buildings have to meet the legal requirements set in the Uniform Building Bylaws. There are certain conditions regarding the size of rooms, the number of windows needed to provide enough ventilation to the indoor area, the location of the fire exit, and the degree of steepness of the staircase.
Lastly, the architect submits the building drawings to the local authority, Shah Alam City Council (MBSA) in order to obtain building plan approval and prepares a schedule for the overall construction process.
This is a recap of the third phase of construction of the bungalow, the design development. This phase mainly involves the use of the detailed drawings produced by the architect, with the assistance of other team players involved, to finally obtain a building plan approval from the local authority and then come up with a schedule for the construction process.
The fourth phase of the construction of the bungalow, construction documents and procurement.
More detailed drawings are produced by the architect in this phase. These drawings consist of specifications such as the scope, size, complexity, as well as measurements for every single space.
The quantity surveyor prepares a bill of quantities based on the drawings produced by the architect, CNS engineer, M&E engineer, interior designer, and the landscape architect. He then advises all parties about the procurement. The quantity surveyor then evaluates the cost based on all materials used and calculates the total amount of money that is going to be used. The amount should not exceed the budget of 4 million ringgit, and it is the quantity surveyor's duty to ensure the cost is under the budget.
The bidding is a process where the contractors submit their tender and the QS and architect evaluate these tenders and concludes which contractor provide the highest value with a reasonable price. Then the architect and QS recommend the contractor to Ms. Teo to start the construction.
The architect will prepare construction schedule for the contractor to monitor the works throughout the whole project that will take up to 8 months.
To sum up this phase, the architect, the M&E engineer, and the CNS engineer produce detailed working drawings at this point. The QS prepares the BQ based on all these drawings and advises the consultants regarding the procurement. The bidding process is also completed to decide the most qualified contractor.
The construction process. The architect and key consultants will be meeting up with contractors and subcontractors to discuss site issue, to monitor in internal site visit, and to ensure the works are done accordingly to the schedule plan. These are the details of the construction process. Hoardings are used to protect the public from potential threats and dangers. Earthwork is done because moving of dirt can occur and also to cut down high spots and fill in low spots on site. A foundation is built along with retaining walls to prevent soil erosion, sustain the load of the bungalow, and to support the upper portions of the building. The pool is also dug along with the foundation according to the measurements in the engineering plans and the specifications provided by the swimming pool specialist. Underground utilities such as sewer system, water, fire protection, natural gas, electrical are installed concurrently with the foundations. Water features and pumps are installed for the swimming pool by a qualified plumber. Structural systems are important to separate the outside elements from the interior space. It is the major image of the final project. It consists of framing system which is made up of concrete, wood and steel. The structure for the shell of pool is reinforced to give it added strength. Master electricians install electrical wire from the bungalow's main electric box for pool lighting. 50 smaller framing members and grids are installed in preparation for roof deck, roofing systems and flooring. Utility lines and systems run in close proximity to columns. It is a standard technique that all vertical lines and elements be bundled together, hence they can share the same floor openings, reducing disturbance into procedures. Building skin is a thin layer which is applied over the exterior, which acts as an infill. It provides the image of the project. A long wiring system is installed for the roof system because the roof is exposed to the sun and to receive rainwater. All interior spaces depend on the exterior system. Mechanical systems such as electrical, plumbing, fire suppression, air handling, and piping are installed. Drawings should be fully coordinated with present location and routing. Interior walls and partitions are used as dividers. In addition to this, door frames and openings are set up. Finishes such as decorative faces or surface of walls, ceiling, floors, equipment, doors, and glazed areas are applied. It is extremely important for the design professionals to meet the client's requirements. Furnitures and custom-made installations such as countertops or cabinets are installed. Lastly, softscape and hardscape elements are installed from place to place throughout the bungalow.
It is crucial to ensure health and safety at the construction site. Numerous steps are taken in order to avoid injuries or threats at the site. Wooden structures or hoardings are used to protect the public from harm. Labour workers wear hard hats, goggles, high visibility clothing, protective gloves, and safety footwear as safety precautions.
Site visits are important throughout the whole construction process to ensure the construction is carried out according to the schedule and on time. The contractor will submit an interim claim for the procurement and materials from the QS and architect based on the work done. The architect and QS then inspect the work to ensure it is according to the plan. The architect and QS also remind Mr. Teo from time to time to make the payment to the contractor according to the work completed.
This is a recap of the fifth phase of construction of the bungalow. This phase mainly refers to stages in the erection of the building and the safety precautions taken during the construction process. It also highlights the interim claim submitted by the contractor for the procurement and the materials from the QS and the architect.
The final phase of construction of the bungalow, the project close-up. During this phase, the contractor checks if the work is completed properly and if there is anything that needs to be changed to achieve better results. He will also demobilize the site by removing all office and storage trailers and by refurbishing the site.
The architect is responsible for submitting the G forms to the Board of Architects Malaysia in order to issue the Certificate of Completion and Compliance (CCC). The G forms are 21 forms or official documents that need to be signed by all the parties involved in the construction project. The CCC is a certificate to approve that the bungalow is safe and ready for occupancy of Mr. Teo and his family.
After the final inspection by all the consultants, the project is deemed complete and Mr. Teo can move into the bungalow.
In a nutshell, in order to successfully manage a construction project from the preliminary to the approved design concept, the architect must be aware that careful and complete documentation of the project is necessary to enable its construction and to bring it to completion. All key consultants must be alert to all potential malfunctions and constraints throughout the process. It is extremely important for all the parties involved to communicate with each other from beginning till the end of project to ensure safety, security, and as well as the functionality and aesthetic of the building. Each of these phases play a vital role in creating the bungalow. If one step is missed or left out, the project fails to be completed. All the documents mentioned in this presentation are to be properly approved because it is a significant requirement for every phase. The combination of quality, cost, and time is the formula to construct a successful project. The most crucial part of this project is the fact that it has a sloping area. The solution for the sloping side is to cut the high side and fill the lower side using the sand cut from the high side to form a new even horizontal surface. To conclude, these are the players involved and the phases in which they contribute to the development of the bungalow. Thank you.